All right. So, good evening to all of you. So, yesterday I explained about how to draw the shear force and the bending moment diagrams for a simply supported beam, which is subject to point load and which is subject to uniform distributed load and which is subject to uniformly varying load and also subject to a couple. So, this is the actually, this is the problem is given. So I told you yesterday. So on this diagram, there are two questions are asked in gate examination. That is nothing but first of all, we have to find the what is the maximum bending moment, and at the same time draw the shear force and bending moment diagram. That is the question is given. So here I'll give it to you. So should I explain about how to find the reactions here? And this is nothing but not a center load. It is named as a eccentric load. And when the eccentric load is acting on the beam, so which is like this, which is simply placed on the supports like this, then due to this one, this force must be transferred to the center of this beam. So and also due to this force, eccentric load, there must be a moment will develop. So that moment will also take here. That is nothing but bending moment. So that is also named as a couple. Couple is nothing but bending moment of individual forces. So here I want to convert this force into concentrated load and also transfer into a couple. So at the center of the beam, then this is a free body diagram. Then we can apply the same principle. Sum of the upward forces is equal to sum of the downward forces. Then we are getting RA plus RB is equal to 100. Then take moment about any point is equal to 0. Then we can take RB into total distance is 500 plus 500,000, which is moving in upward direction. Minus means this 100 is moving in downward direction. That's why it is named as negative 100 into 500. At the same time, we are going to consider here couple. That couple is 100 into 100. It is also clockwise. Clockwise couple is negative. I have already told you yesterday. So is equal to 0, then we are going to find the RB value. RB value we get 60 newtons. Automatically, if we substitute this RB value in this equation, we are getting the RA value. So now here I'm going to draw the bending moment diagram for this one. So for using the free body diagram, so listen carefully here. So this type of questions are very important. So and gate point of view, they're asking repeatedly now. So this is the free body diagram. So this is the this is RB value. RB value is equal to 16 newtons, and this one is nothing but RA value is equal to 14 newtons, and this one is nothing but 100 newtons, and this one is nothing but 100 into 100. 100 into 100 is the value of couple. Okay, right. So how to draw the bending moment diagram here? Shear force diagram is very simple. So I'll give it to you both how to draw the shear force and bending moment diagram for this case. So what is the, it is simply supported beam. Moment at this point is zero. All of you know it. I told you yesterday. First of all, I'm going to give it to you. What is the shear force diagram now? So this is the force which is moving in upward direction. So I want to draw the first of all. So it is moving in downward direction. That is minus 16 newtons is the value of shear. And if you come to this point, there must be a force here that is moving in downward direction. It is positive, it is negative. So up to this one is same value, that is 60 newtons. If you add this 100, we can get the plus 40. Then I am going to up to plus 40 here. So after that, this continue up to this one. If you take this reaction and the sum of those two becomes zero. then this is the shear force diagram for this beam now, which is subject to a point load and a couple. Now I'm going to draw the bending moment diagram. First of all, I'm going to find the bending moment at the support and at a point. So C is also here. So I'm writing here bending moment at B must be equal to 0, and bending moment, I'm writing bending moment at B is 0 and is also is equal to bending moment at A. Both must be equal to 0. Now I'm going to write it here. What is the bending moment about C? Bending moment about C without couple. I'm writing here without couple. Without couple. Now listen carefully here. Without couple means this is the force. This is the force into this one now. So I'm coming from this side now. So I'm taking here RB, that is 60 into how much? This value is given as 50 mm, and this value is also given as 50 and 500 mm. So into 500 here, that is 30, that is 30,000 we are getting, that is Newton meter we can get it, Newton mm we can get it. So I am writing here bending moment about C with couple. I'm writing with couple. With couple means how much we get it now? That is 60. That is 60 into 500 with respect to this couple. That is 30,000, which is always positive. Why? Because it is moving in upward direction. And at this couple, it is clockwise direction. It is negative minus 100 into 100. Then I am getting here. That is 30,000 minus 10,000. So Newton meter. So it is in terms of Newton millimeter. That is, if you convert into meter divided by 1000, then we are getting in terms of Newton meter. So 20,000 we are getting here. That is Newton meter. So these are the values of bending moment at point C with couple and without couple. Now I'm going to indicate that bending moment diagram. So listen carefully here. Listen carefully here now. So listen carefully. So here, so this is the point A and point B. At the point and point B, bending moment must be equal to 0. Here is also is equal to 0. So here, without couple, how much you get? 30 Newton mm. But if you divide by 1000, then we are getting here 30 Newton meter we get. So that is positive. So I'm going to indicate here that is 30 Newton meter is the bending moment without couple. Now with couple, how much you get now? That is 20. That is 20,000 Newton meter. That is mm actually. It is divided by 1000. We are getting in terms of 20 Newton meter. So next, this one is the bending moment for this position. So next one is with the with couple. We are getting 20 Newton meter here. I'm going to join like this here. And bending moment is 0 here. So this is the bending moment diagram for this beam now. Now tell me what is the value of maximum bending moment here? Maximum bending moment is nothing but 30 here. Or you got my point or not? Maximum bending moment is nothing but 30 Newton meter here. Or you got my point or not? So this is the way of drawing the bending moment diagram when the beams are subjected to couple. So I want to give one more problem on the couple. After that, I'll give the explanation about beams are subjected to internal hinge, how to draw the shear force and bending moment diagram. Okay, so light, listen carefully. All right. So this is the simply support beam is given. This is simply support beam is given. So this is a support and this is also support. And here one couple is acting. That couple is nothing but 40 Newton meter. This one is also another couple is acting here. That is 16 Newton meter. So this is the length of the beam between the two supports, that is equal to 1 meter. Now here, this is a simply supported beam which is subject to two couple at the two supports. That is, one is clockwise and one is anti-clockwise direction. So here my question is, first of all, I want to find the reactions at this support. My question is, first of all, question number one, find the direction of reactions at A and B. Find the direction of reactions at A and B. Now, if you want to find the direction of reactions here, so this one is nothing but anti-clockwise, this one is nothing but clockwise. So first of all, we are going to find what is the net couple acting on this beam now. There are two couples are acting, one is clockwise and one is anti-clockwise. Now, what is the net couple here? So I'm writing here net couple on the beam. Net couple on the beam is equal to. So what is net couple here? So this is anti-clockwise direction, that is negative, negative, and this one is anti-clockwise direction, positive, that is 40. We can get minus 20 Newton meter is the net couple which is acting on the beam, that is must be acting at the center of the beam. So I'm going to draw again here. I'm going to draw this one is replaced by net couple. I'm going to draw this is replaced by net couple here. That is how much we get? Minus. Minus means clockwise or anti-clockwise? Clockwise. So I'm going to indicate this one is the clockwise and this one is 20 Newton meter is the couple. And the distance between these two is nothing but how much? 1 meter. Or you got my point or not? Or you got my point? So this is the net couple on the beam due to the two couples which are acting at the two supports. First of all, find the net couple and replace the net couple at the center of the beam. Then we are going to find the reactions at the support now. Now tell me here, when this couple is acting exactly at the center of the beam, that is net couple, then it is always clockwise direction. Then the beam always try to rotate in clockwise direction. Then what is the direction of reaction at the support here? That is in upward direction. This is in downward direction. So this is RA and this is RB. So RB is in upward direction, RA in downward direction. If you want to find the magnitude of RA and RB, then simply we can write like this. So RA must be is equal to how much? Minus RB. So RA is equal to how much? Minus RB. Or we can write RB is equal to minus RA, whatever you want. I have already told you yesterday now. So here I want to find the R and RB. Take moment about any point is 0 here. So I'm taking here moment about A is equal to 0. I'm taking moment about A is equal to 0. Then RB into this total distance. Then I'm writing here RB into 1. The total distance is 1, which is positive. Why? Because this force is moving in the anti-clockwise direction, that is upward direction. Moment is positive. Then here one more couple is there now here. Couple is negative, that is 20 Newton meter must be is equal to 0. Then RB is equal to how much? 20. And RA is also is equal to how much? 20. Or you got my point or not? So both are having same magnitude, but directions are opposite to each other. So here I want to second question. We can easily draw the shear force diagram. That is question number 2. So draw the SFD and BMD. So shear force diagram and bending moment diagram. So after replacing this one, so take these reactions and take this reaction, then we are getting automatically a rectangle for shear force diagram. Why? Because we never consider the couple in case of drawing the shear force diagram. Or you got my point or not? So what is the bending moment diagram? Simply we can write the bending moment diagram. So bending moment at this point, both must be equal to how much? 0. Then take the moment at this point with the couple and without couple. Then we are getting the required value. So I will give it to you. So listen carefully. So this is the shear force diagram for this case. So here this force is moving in upward direction. So the shear force in downward, that is minus 20 newtons. And up to this one is constant, constant, constant. If you come to this one, it is positive, then it becomes zero. Then this is the shear force diagram. It is completely in the form of rectangle. Or you got 2 points. So I want to find the bending moment. So bending moment at this point must be zero, but I want to find the bending moment at C now. So that I'm going to draw the bending moment diagram. So please take care about the bending moment diagram now. So what is the bending moment at point A and point B must be is equal to how much? Zero. So here and here, bending moment is equal to zero here. So bending moment is equal to zero here. Okay, right. So here, what is the bending moment at C without couple? So bending moment at C without couple is how much? So bending moment about C without couple, without couple means RP into how much? 0.5. That is 20 into 0.5. Why? Because the total length is 1 meter. Half of that value is nothing but 0.5 meter. So automatically we can get here 25, 10, we can get here 10 here. Can get 10 here. That is 10 Newton meter here. That is without couple. So I am writing here bending moment about C with couple. With the couple. So with the couple is how much now? That is generally we are writing the moment here is 10, which is positive, and the couple is nothing but how much? 20, which is negative. Then we can get minus 20 Newton meter is the bending moment at C now. Or get my point? Now I'm going to draw the bending moment diagram. So take care about the bending moment diagram now. So here at this point, both are become zero. Then without couple, so without couple, what is the bending moment we are having? That is nothing but, so 10, that is positive, that is 10 Newton meter here. I'm going to join like this. And after that, what is the with couple here? With couple is minus 20. I will come to this point. This is nothing but minus 20 Newton meter. I'm going to join like this. So this is the bending moment diagram for this case. So take care about this one. The net is always couple here. Or you got no point or not? Sorry, this is minus 10. Sorry, this is minus 10. So here I'm going to write minus 10 here. So here minus 10, if you subtract those two, 10 plus 10, we are getting 20. That is 20 Newton meter is the net couple acting on this one now. So in this way, we are going to draw the shear force and bending moment diagram for a beam that is simply supported beam, which is subject to a couple. So these are the types of questions they will ask in GATE examination. That is, beams are subjected to a couple. How to draw the shear force and bending moment diagrams. That is clear for you. Okay. So this is about cantilever beams and simply support beams. Now I'm going to give it to you. So how to draw the shear force and bending moment diagram for overhanging beams. After that, I will give it to you how to draw the shear force and bending moment diagram when the beams are having internal hinge. So listen carefully now. First of all, I'm going to give shear force diagram and bending moment diagram for overhanging beams. Overhanging beams. Now listen carefully here. So, for example, I am taking one overhang beam. I have already told you what is the definition of overhang beam is nothing but, for example, this is the overhanging. Both sides are overhang here. So this is the overhang beam. So this is the total length of the beam. So what I am saying here, what is the definition of overhang beam? The total length of the beam is always more than the distance between the two supports. Then the beam is always named as overhanging beam. Or you got my point? So we can take one side or two sides. If you cut this one now, so this length is also, this is the length of the beam, which is always more than distance between the two supports. Then it is also named as overhanging beam. So I am taking both sides is overhanging here. And here I'm going to take one load. That load is equal to how much? W. I'm going to take another load here that is also is equal to W. And this length is how much? L by 2. And this length is L by 2. And the center length is how much? L. So this is a point A and this is point B. That is the support at A and B now. So this is the overhanging beam, both sides having overhang. And here they will ask the question. Draw the bending moment diagram or draw the shear force diagram or what is the reactions at A and B, or they will ask what is the maximum bending moment, or they will ask what is the maximum shear force. They will ask any type of question on this beam now. So first of all, if any overhang beam is given, so or simply support beam is given, we have to find the reactions first. So what are the equations we can use to find the reactions here? So I can write here. So sigma y is 0. That is sum of upward forces is equal to, when the beam is said to be under equilibrium, sum of upward forces must be is equal to sum of downward forces. Downward forces. What are the upward forces here? So here one reaction that is nothing but RA, and here is another reaction that is nothing but RB. All of you know it. So I'm writing here RA plus RB is equal to and W plus W, then we can get here 2W. This is equation number 1. Or you got my point? Or you got it? So at the same time, I want to find the moment about this point here. Moment about this point here. Or we can take moment about this point or this point or this point. We can take moment about any point equal to 0. To find the another equation in terms of RA and RB, then equate or subtract those two, then we are getting the RA and RB values here. So here I am taking the moment here about this point, that is I am taking C, I am taking D here. I am taking moment about C is equal to how much? 0. Now tell me how to calculate bending moment about C now. So this is the force W into this is the length, the total length is how much? L by 2 plus L plus L by 2. I'm writing here length is L by 2 plus L plus L by 2. This is negative. Why? Because this load is moving in downward direction. My plus RB into how much length? L plus L by 2. L plus L by 2. And another one is nothing but that is the that is nothing but right. That is nothing but RA is also moving in upward direction into how much? L by 2 must be is equal to 0. Then this becomes how much? I think 2L, that is minus 2W into L plus RB into 3L by 2 plus RA into L by 2 is equal to 0. Then we can write the equation like this, RA into L by 2 plus RB into 3 by 2 times of L is equal to 2 times of WL. L in all sides are cancelled. Then we can take this one is nothing but 2 is LCM. Take that side. Then we can write 4 times of W. Then we can write here RA plus 3RB is equal to 4 times of W. This is equation number 2. If you solve the equation number 1 and 2, then we are getting RA and RB values very simply. That is, I'm writing here RA is also is equal to W. RB is also is equal to W. We are getting the same value. So that is the way of calculation of reactions at the support. This one is clear. I hope you understand this one. Already I told you in simply support beam. Same as we can follow here also to find the reactions at RA and RB by using two equations, that is sigma y is 0 or moment about any point is also equal to 0. Then here I'm going to indicate here this is one reaction, that is also W. Here is another reaction, this also is equal to W. It is L by 2 L and this is L by 2. So this is the free body diagram of the given beam. Then I'm going to draw the shear force and bending moment diagram. So shear force and bending moment diagrams are very simple. So listen carefully. First of all, I'm going to draw the shear force diagram. So directly we can draw it. no problem. There is no any need of calculation here. If you see those values, you can draw directly like this. This load is moving in downward, shear is positive, after this one is positive. So I'm going to indicate this is plus W. And up to this one is, this load is will continue. This load will continue up to this point, B value. This is A point, this is B point. The load W will continue up to B. If you come to B, the W is positive, this W is negative, both become zero. It will comes to zero here. It will comes to zero here. And up to this one, there is no any load from B to A. B to A, there is no shear force. So here shear force is equal to how much? Zero on this between A and B. This is point A, this is point B. And if you come to A point, so A point, there must be a force which is moving in upward direction. Then there must be a shear which is in downward direction. That is nothing but minus W, and it will continue up to this point. And again, we can have plus W and minus W both get cancelled. It will comes to zero. So this is the shear force diagram for this overhanging beam on both sides. Are you got my point or not? Are you got it? So this is the way of drawing the shear force diagram for this beam. Now I'm going to explain to you how to calculate bending moment at every point and how to draw the bending moment diagram. So we can draw this bending moment diagram very easily if you know the if you know how to draw it. So we can draw very simply for this diagram, but I'm going to first of all explain to you how to find the bending moment at every point. After that, I'm going to draw the bending moment diagram. Okay, listen carefully here. All of you know, so what is the bending moment? What is the bending moment about the zero? Why? Because this force must be passing through point D, so that moment must be equal to zero. And I'm going to write it here. What is the bending moment at point B? What is the bending moment at point B? Bending moment at point B is nothing but this force into this distance, that is W into L by 2. That is W into how much? L by 2. That is moving in downward direction. Moment is negative, right? And bending moment at A value. I'm going to write at A value. This is A value. So now tell me here W into this up to this distance, that is W into L plus L by 2, which is positive, and this one again W into L here, that is minus, so this is negative, and this one is positive, W into how much? L by 2. Then if you resolve it, that is minus 3 W into L divided by 2 plus WL by 2, then we are getting the value of minus WL by 2 we are getting. I get my point or not? Check that value now. I got my point. So the bending moment at point A and point B both are same. There is no any variation of bending moment here. Or got my point or not? Right. So then here I'm going to at the point C we can directly write it, that value becomes so much? Zero. Or you got my point or not? Or you got it? Right. That is so here that is not a WL here. That is WL. W into L here, not L by 2, W into L here. Then we can take it, then we can get the minus WL by 2. Sorry for that. So now I'm going to take this value, bending moment at B, automatically it becomes 0. So I'm writing here bending moment about C is also 0. So then I'm going to draw the bending moment diagram. So this is the bending moment diagram. Listen carefully. Now tell me at point D bending moment is 0. Right. What is the bending moment about B now? Bending moment about B is minus WL by 2. So here I am indicating minus WL by 2. but it is a triangle. Why? Because it is a point load. For point load for any beam, bending moment diagram is a triangle. So between A and B, bending moment is constant. Bending moment is constant. So at this point is also WL by 2 and this becomes 0 here. So this is the bending moment diagram for this overhanging beam. So in this way, we can calculate bending moment at every point. So we can draw the bending moment diagram for this overhanging beam given like this. Now I want to give it to you one or two more example problems on this overhanging beam. So listen carefully. Not giving any explanation, so please try to draw this diagram. So here I'm going to give it, this is the overhanging beam. This one is nothing but this one and this one, there must be two supports. This one is RA and this one is nothing but RB. The center beam is subject to uniformly distributed load here. Uniformly distributed load that is equal to W per meter. It is also L by 2. It is L by 2 and this length is L here. Now, if you see this diagram, first of all, you have to find the reactions at the support. A reaction set at the support. What is the total load here? What is the total load the entire beam? That is total load is equal to, what is the value of total load? Now tell me, total load is equal to W into, so that is W into L by 2 plus L by 2. Then we can add 2 WL here. 2 WL here. So this is L by 2, this is L by 2, this is L. Automatically, I can write here the total load is 2 WL. So these two are always share that load equally. That is, this is also WL, this is also WL. We can get very easily. Otherwise, we can follow the same rule. What is the same rule here? That is sigma y is 0. That means sum of upward forces is equal to how much? Sum of downward forces. And another one is nothing but moment about any point is equal to how much? 0. And find the RA and RB values. Or you got my point or not? So here, this is L by 2, this is L by 2. If these two lengths are different, then don't write WL, WL. We will get different value at RA and RB values. These two overhangings are having same length, that is L by 2 and L by 2. And the middle one is nothing but sum of those two. Then we are getting the value of RA and RB are equal. That is WL and WL. So in such cases, so here I'm going to draw what is the first of all shear force diagram. After that, I'm going to draw the bending moment diagram. Listen carefully. Right. Now here, what is the this from this point to this point? This is A, B, and this one is C. Suppose this one is D. We can take as you wish. So from this point to this point, which type of load is acting here? Uniformly distributed load. What is the shear force diagram here? It is a triangle. So that I'm going to indicate one triangle here. One triangle here. Is it right or not? That one is the how much here now? Generally, how much load here? The total load that is W into L by 2. Is it right or not? Up to this one, what is the total load here? W into L by 2. That is WL by 2, which is acting exactly at the center. So here I am writing WL by 2. That is the value of shear force, which is acting in downward direction, but shear force is positive here at this one. Or you get my point or not? What is the value here? WL by 2. Or you got it? Now here another force is here now WL. So this is WL by 2. This is WL. WL. How much you get here? That is minus WL. We are getting up to this one now. Why? Because this is negative and this is positive. So here we get minus WL by 2. Why? Because up to this one is shear force is plus WL by 2. So here another force is also there, that is minus WL. So minus WL plus WL by 2, we are getting minus WL by 2. Then we can get like this. So between these two, it is like a between A and B, it is like a simply supported beam. So automatically we know that for simply supported beam, we know this. This is a diagram for simply support beam. At this point, shear force is zero. And again, if you come to this point, so it is all again here we can get plus WL by 2, and here again we are getting minus WL by 2, and this one is becomes 0. So this is the shape of the shear force. Or you got my point or not? So this one is UDL, this one is also UDL. So this one is a triangle. After this one is plus WL by 2. That is a total load on this beam. Then another reaction is here, that is minus WL by, because it is moving in upward. Add those two, then we are getting minus WL by 2. We are indicating here. So from this point to this point, so between these points A and B, it is like a simply supported beam. So I'm going to join these two like this. For simply supported beam, we are getting this is the shear force diagram. So we get the same value here, WL by 2, and again we are getting here minus WL by 2. Why? Because this force is moving in upward direction, it is negative. Minus WL plus WL by 2, then we are getting here minus WL by 2. We can indicate from this point in negative direction, and again here is 0. It is joined by triangle. Why? Because from this point is a uniformly distributed load, so that we are going to join by a triangle. So this is the diagram of shear force. Now, I want to draw the bending moment diagram. I want to draw the bending moment diagram for this case. Now, how to draw the bending moment diagram? This one is WL, this one is also WL. So, how to draw a bending moment diagram? I have already told you. So, between the point A and B, it is like a simply supported beam. It is like a simply supported beam. In the case of simply supported beam, I have already told you. So when it is subject to UDL, what is the bending moment diagram here? Bending moment diagram is a parabola like this. Parabola like this. Or you got my point? And the shear force diagram is like this. And at this point, shear force is zero. At this point, bending moment is maximum. I have already told you in the yesterday class. So remember these two. What is the shear force and bending moment diagram for simplicity? So here, what is the bending moment here? Zero. What is the bending moment here? Zero. So it is a uniform distributed load. What is the shape of the bending moment here? Parabola. So I'm going to draw one parabola here. Here is also same. We get one parabola here. So this is the bending moment from this point to this point, from this point to this point, we get the same value. Why? Because this length and this length we are having same. So here between these two, so this is the always acting as a parabola like this. So at the center, there must be bending moment is maximum here. At that point, what is the shear force value? Zero. Or you got my point or not? I have already drawn here. That is the shear force diagram. See this one. This one is moving it upward, downward, downward, and zero. So this is the center. This is the shear force diagram, and this is the bending moment diagram. And exactly where the shear force is zero, at that point we are having bending moment is maximum. But here we have to remember one point. So where the bending moment diagram changes its sign, or where the bending moment changes its sign between the supports. So here 0, it is goes to negative, negative, and it is also negative, negative, and it comes to 0. After that, it will change in positive direction, and it will changes its sign convention. So up to this one is negative, negative, 0. After that, it will goes to positive now. So that where the bending moment changes its sign, where the bending moment will changes its sign, that point is always named as contraflexure point. It is also contraflexure point. So how many contraflexure points for this case? We are having two contraflexure points. Okay, they will ask question, any question they will ask in GATE examination. Draw either shear force diagram draw either bending moment diagram. So for this beam, how many contraflexures you are getting? Otherwise, they will ask what is the maximum bending moment, what is the maximum shear force. They will ask any type of question. Okay, so this is the case of overhanging beam, which is subjected to uniformly distributed load entire its length. Now I want to give one more example problem on this. After that, I will give the another model, that is internal hinge, when the beams are subjected to internal hinge. Listen carefully. So this one is another example problem. That is, this is the beam which is overhang only one side, not two sides, only overhang at one side. This is L, and this is nothing but L by 2. And here we are going to apply a point load here, or otherwise we can take here, for example, we can take in the uniform distributed load. We can take point load, whatever you want. We can take point load at anyone, at any point on the beam. So here also we are going to find the reaction. So this is W per meter. So here is also we are going to draw the shear force and bending moment diagram. So I am not giving the calculation of reactions and calculation of bending moment here. So, but here I'm going to draw the shear force and bending moment diagram. We can draw very easily, listen carefully. Here there must be a reaction. Here there must be a reaction, that is RA, and this must be RB. Now here, so tell me how to draw the shear force diagram here. Simply we can draw it. So from this one, from this point to this point, which load is acting here? Uniformly distributed load is acting. Or got my point or not? So from this point to this point, which load is acting? Uniformly distributed load is acting. So what is the shape of the shear force diagram? It is a triangle. It is a triangle. So there must be another force which is acting in upward direction. So if we add those two, we will get negative. You will get negative. You will get must be negative. Here is positive shear force, and if you come to this point, we will get negative shear force. Try to find those values. So between these 2 points, A and B, it is like a simply support beam. For simply support beam, directly we can get like this. So this is the shear force diagram for simply support beam between point A and B. So this is between B and C now. Or got my point or not? So this is the way of drawing the shear force diagram for this case. So if you want to find the values, we can take the equilibrium condition, sigma y is equal to 0 and moment about any point is 0, and find RE and RB, and find the shear force at A and B and C. Automatically we can draw it now. So here I'm going to draw the bending moment diagram. Here I want to draw the bending moment diagram. So listen carefully here. So from this point to this point, so it is UDL, bending moment diagram is a parabola. Up to this one is negative. So this is a negative bending moment here up to this point. But between these 2 points, it is simply support beam. It is very parabolically like this. So, but here, this is the maximum bending moment. Bending moment is maximum where the shear force is 0. So this is the variation of bending moment diagram for this overhanging beam on one side only. So if you see the diagram, so it is varies negatively, 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 and also negative, negative, and comes to 0 and changes its sign into positive. Then where the bending moment is 0, where the bending moment changes its sign, then at that point it is always named as contraflexure point. So where the bending moment is 0 between the supports. I got my point or not? So in this way, so they will in the general examination, they will ask how to find the contraflexure points. So at what distance we will get the contraflexure points. Everything we can find it. But in gate point of view, in complete exam point of view, they are asking questions only on draw the shear force or draw the bending moment diagram. Otherwise, they will ask to find the maximum bending moment or maximum shear force on the beam. That is only. But here, how many cases are there in shear force and bending moment? 5 cases. Listen carefully. When the beam is subject to point load, when the beam is subject to UDL, and the beam is subject to UVL, when the beam is subject to couple. So 4 case is over. And the next one, I'm going to give it to you when the beam is subject to internal hinge, how to draw the shear force and bending moment diagram. Okay, right. So this is the way of drawing of shear force and bending moment for overhang beam. So we can take any one. So we can take for this, if you take one point load here, if you take one couple here, we can take anywhere. We can draw the shear force and bending moment diagram, but it will take more time to solve it. But in gate point of view, they will ask questions for only 1 mark. So they will always ask the simple questions. So whether you can find the shear force or bending moment or shear force diagram or bending moment diagram. Otherwise, they will ask the support reactions. Otherwise, they will ask what is the direction of supports when the couple is acting on the beam, whether it is upward and downward. They will ask any type of question. So, okay, right. So these are the shear force and bending moment diagram for overhanging beams. These beams are also subject to couple, no problem. So I have already told you when the beams are subject to couple, how to solve it. I have already told you in case of cantilever, in case of simply support, in case of overhang beam is also same. Okay, all right. So here, next one I'm going to give it to you, beams with internal hinge. Now tell me, what is the internal hinge here? Internal hinge is nothing but, so see this one like this, I am putting like this. So it can rotate freely. It can rotate freely, but if you apply the force in this direction, it always applies some force in this direction. If you want to push in downward direction, it always applies some force in upward direction, but there is no any reactive force in rotational direction. So there is no moment reaction. So what about moment here? Zero. So if there is any internal hinge is given, at that point, bending moment is zero. At internal hinge, at internal hinge, bending moment must be equal to zero, but shear force never equal to zero. There must be a force. But bending moment equal to how much? Zero. There is no moment at that point. Now, in the gate examination, the three questions are asked on the beams which are subject to internal hinge. So listen carefully. The question is given like this. So two bars are given. This is the first example problem which is given gate examination. This is two bars are given. That is, first one is nothing but AB. And this is AB. This is AB. And this one is another one is nothing but BC. These two are connected by a hinge now. This is the hinge. These two are connected by hinge here. And it is placed simply over the support here. And here one force is given that is equal to P. And the distance between these 2 points is given as L. And the distance between these 2 points is L by 2 and L by 2. This point is given as A and this is given as B, this is given as C. So here two bars are given, two bars are given, AB and BC. It is a cantilever beam. It is simply supported on the support here, but this bar and this bar both are connected by a hinge here. They can rotate freely. They can rotate freely. It is named as frictionless hinge here. It is named as frictionless hinge here. So the question is given in gate examination. Gate examination. Find the reaction at point A. Question is given. Find the reaction at A. That is the given question. Okay. So listen carefully how to solve this problem. Okay. Now, first of all, I'm going to draw the free body diagram of AB and BC. This is internal hinge. Internal hinge is always used to join the two beams or two bars. So to free to rotate here now. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to draw the free body diagram of AB and BC. Now, first of all, I'm going to draw the BC portion. So listen carefully here. This is BC. Now, this load is acting at this point. So this support must be give some reactive force in upward direction. that is nothing but RC. Listen carefully. Okay, right. So if it is hinge here, if it is hinge here, if it is hinge, it can rotate freely. The moment is zero, but there must be a force. So when the force is acting on this bar, which is downward direction, the bar try to rotate in this direction. Is it right or not? The bar BC try to rotate in this direction. At the same time, this bar always applies some force in which direction? Upward direction. Upward direction. Why? Because there, according to Newton's law, there must be equal and opposite forces. Then this two bars set to be under equilibrium condition. Otherwise, the bars are not under equilibrium condition. Or you got my point or not? So if it is set to be under equilibrium condition, so due to this applied force, the bar will rotate in downward direction in this anti-clockwise direction like this. But this bar will apply some force in which direction? Upward direction to keep this bar BC in equilibrium so that I'm going to uh, indicate one force here. I'm going to indicate one force here, and this force is equal to how much? P here. If you see this free body diagram of BC, if you see the free body diagram of BC, it is like a simply supported beam. It is also having a length of L by 2. It is also having a length of L by 2. Then I can say easily this load is equal to how much? P by 2. This load is also is equal to P by 2. Or got my point or not? Why? Because that load is exactly acting at this center. Now tell me for this case of bar B, AB. So I am taking AB here, AB here. Now tell me here, if this bar AB apply the force on BC in upward direction, at the same time, this bar BC applies some force on AB in which direction? Downward direction. Or you got my point? Which direction? Downward direction. It is also is equal to how much? P by 2. Both are having same magnitude, but directions are opposite. That is named as shear. What I told you here, at internal hinge, bending moment is equal to 0, but shear never equal to 0. So this is the shear value, but magnitude is same, but directions are opposite. So this is the free body diagram of this AB. What is this length here? L. So here, due to this hinge, this bar applies some force on this bar, which is equal to P by 2. And this bar is also applies some force on this bar is equal to P by 2. How it is P by 2? So P is exactly acting at the center. So it is like a simply supported beam so that this load is shared by each support equal to P by 2, P by 2. Then if it is P by 2, which is acting in upward direction due to hinge, automatically this one is also P by 2, which is acting in downward direction. So what is the question is given? Find the reaction at A. Now tell me what is the reaction here? If the P by 2 is moving in downward direction, this reaction is also is equal to how much? What is the value? P by 2. Now one more question is given on this same. So find the moment, bending moment at point A, and also ask the question, find the bending moment at point A. Now tell me what is the bending moment about point A here. So bending moment is nothing but force into a perpendicular distance. So bending moment is nothing but how much? Bending moment about A is equal to, so P by 2 into how much? L. You can write here PL by 2 how much? 2 is the value of bending moment at point A. So now if you see this diagram, it is like a simply support beam. I know how to draw the shear force. I know how to draw the bending moment. It is like a cantilever beam. I know how to draw the shear force, how to draw the bending moment. Join these two, then we can get the shear force diagram and bending moment diagram for the total beam. Or you got my point or not? Or you got it? So I hope you understand that thing now. That is how to draw the shear force and bending moment diagram. In this case, what is that the shape of this shear force diagram now? For this case, we know that for this case, shear force diagram is how much? Like this. And what is the bending moment diagram? Is like this. Or you got my point or not? Sorry. And this is not UDL, it is a point load. So for point load, shear force diagram is like it is moving in upward direction. It is like this, like this, like this, like this. So this is the shear force diagram for this case, and Benjamin diagram is like this. Benjamin diagram is like this. So here, this is the shear force and Benjamin diagram for this case. For this case, we know that this is the rectangle and this is the triangle. This is the Benjamin diagram. So this is the shear force diagram. If you join these two, then we can get the total shear force and minimum diagram for the beam, which is having internal hinge. Now I want to give one more question, which is also given in GATE examination. Please try to uh, listen carefully now. So this is the another example which is given in the examination. So this is one beam which is cantilever. So it is also hinged here. It is also hinged here. It is also hinged here. So these two are hinged here, these two are hinged here, but one force is acting here, is equal to how much? 100 newtons. This point is A, this point is B, this point is C, and this point is D. And this is given 1 meter, and this is given 2 meters, and this is given 1 meter. So this is the load which is exactly acting at the center of this beam. So which is hinged at two ends to the cantilever two beams. One is AC and one is BD now. So here, in such cases, first of all, this is the internal hinge. This is the internal hinge here. So if there is an internal hinge here, so first of all, you have to draw the free body diagram here. Free body diagram. So what is the free body diagram of this one now? So this portion AC now I'm going to draw. Listen carefully. So if you draw this free body diagram of this middle portion, and I want to draw the this portion. Now tell me here, when this load is exactly acting at the center is equal to 100, what is the reactive force at C and D? So why? Because when this load is exactly at the center, this bar also gives some reactive force in upward. This bar is also gives some reactive force in upward. So these are the reactive forces at this point. So how much value these two? The total is 100. This must be is equal to 50. This must be is equal to 50. And this is equal to how much? 100 newtons. So portion CD is over. Portion CD is over. Or you got my point or not? Right. So if this bar is moving in downward direction, this bar applies some force on this bar. In which direction? In downward direction. And this bar applies some force on this bar. In which direction? Upward. Already I have indicated here. So this bar is also applied some force on this bar in upward. This bar is also applied some force on this bar in upward. But this bar applies some force on this bar downward. This bar applies some force on this bar in downward. So there must be a downward force here. There must be a downward force here. But it is also is equal to 50. It is also is equal to how much? 50. Now this reactive force is also is equal to how much? 50. This reactive force is also is equal to 50 newtons. So this is the free body diagram of these beams are connected with the internal hinge. So that if you see this one, it is a cantilever beam. We know that how to draw the shear force and bending moment diagram. It is like a simply support beam. We know that how to draw the shear force and bending moment diagram. It is like a cantilever beam. We can draw the shear force and bending moment diagram. Now join all this one, then we can get the shear force and bending moment of this total diagram or total beam. These beams are connected with internal hinges. Or got my point or not? Or you got it? So then simply they ask one question on this one. So find the reaction at A and B. That is a given question in the examination. Find the reaction at A and B. So if you know the concept very well, directly we can say, so it is also 50, it is also 50. And at the C and B also having reactive forces. Those are also is equal to 50 and 50. Okay. So I hope you understand this one now. So I want to give one more example on this beam with internal hinge. So that is also given in GATE examination. So simply they will ask some reactive force here now. So listen carefully. So this is the question is given in the GATE examination. This is one bar that is hinged to another bar. This is the bar. It is placed simply over a support like this. Okay, right. So this is hinged here, and here they are asking the reaction. That is, you have to find the RB value. And here two forces are given. This is also 100 newtons. It is also 100 newtons is given. And the distance between these two is 2 meters. And this one is 1 meter. This one is 1 meter up to this one. And this one is given as 1.5 meter. So this is the given diagram. So it is also having two bars which are connected to internal hinge. And here asking question is find the find the reactive force at a hinge now. That is find the reactive force at B now. That is the question here asking here. Or you got my point or not? So after that we are going to draw the shear force and bending moment diagram also very simply, but we are going to find so RB value. Now how to find the RB value here? So take this one is a free body diagram. So this one is A and this one is nothing but B and this one is nothing but C. Then take the free body diagram of this one. So this I am writing here, drawing here. This one is one load here. This one is another load here. That is 100, and this one is one reaction here, and this one is another reaction here. That is RB here. This is RC here. This is 100 newtons. This is 100 newtons, and this is 2 meters. This is 1 meter, and 1 meter is given. Now, all of you know it is like a simply supported beam which is having 2 point loads. 2 point loads. Now we can apply the equilibrium conditions here. So I'm writing here sum of upward forces is equal to first I'm writing sum of upward forces is equal to sum of downward forces. So what is the value we are getting here now? That is RB plus RC is equal to 200 newtons. This is the first one. And take moment about B is equal to 0. So moment about B is equal to 0. Then RC into, or we can write moment about C directly, we can get it now. You get no point? Right? Hello? All right. So here, RB plus RC is equal to how much? 200 newtons. Then here I'm going to write it. Take moment about C is equal to 0. Take moment about C is equal to 0. Then I am writing here RB into total distance is 4. Total distance is 4, which is moving in a clockwise direction, that is negative. Clockwise direction, negative. So otherwise we can take like this also, as you wish, no problem. That is take moment about B is equal to 0. That is RC into 4, which is positive, minus 100 into how much? 3, minus 100 into how much? 2 is equal to 0. Then RC into 4 is equal to how much? 300 plus 200, then we can get 500. So divide by 4, then RC is equal to, so that is 500 divided by 4. Then we can get the required value now. So then we can find RB value automatically. Why? Because RC is equal to 500 by 4. So then we can get here RB is equal to some value. So in this way, we can calculate RB value for any case. So when these reactions are when this reaction at RA and RB, we can find easily. At the same time, we can find the reaction at A also after finding the reaction RB value. Or you got my point or not? Okay, right. So this is the way of calculation of. After that, we can draw the shear force diagram. After that, we can draw the bend moment diagram. For this case, all of you know it how to draw the shear force and bend moment diagram for this case. I already told you one or two problems in the simply support beam. We can write this is like a cantilever beam. This portion we can draw the shear force and bend moment diagram for this case also. Then we can calculate each and every point. Okay. Right. So this is the way of calculation of shear force and bending moment diagrams for cantilever beam, for simply support beam, for overhanging beam, which are subject to point load, which are subject to UDL, which are subjected to uh, couple and a varying load and internal hinge. And we can draw the we can draw shear force and bending moment diagrams very easy. Okay, right. Actually, we are having how many beams now? We are having 6 beams now. That is, one is said to be uh, that is cantilever beam. Second one is simple supported beam. Third one is overhanging beam. Fourth one is fixed beam. Fifth one is continuous beam, and last one is proper beam. So remaining 3 beams I will explain later. That is also very simple for continuous beams and fixed beams and proper beams. In case of proper beams, first of all, we have to know the how to find the deflection maximum. After that, we are going to find the what is the support reactions. After that, we are going to draw the shear force and bending moment diagrams. Okay, right. So this is the shear force and bending moment diagram for cantilever, simply support, overhang. Most of the questions are given on this one. So I'm also giving the explanation about the continuous and fixed and after completion of the deflection of beams now. So here now I'm going to write it here. What is the relation between the shear force and bending moment? And next one is load. So here 3 points are there. Relation between load, shear force, bending moment. So they're asking one more questions on this one. Please take care about those 3 points now. How to write the relation between the how to write the relation between the load, shear force, and bending moment diagram. Okay, so for that, I'm going to take a simple example. I'm taking one beam here. This is simply supported beam. We are having one reaction here. We are having another reaction here. So on this beam, I'm going to take a uniformly distributed load. So I can indicate like this. See this one. This is the beam. Right. So I am going to take one section here from this support. This section at a distance of how much? X. This one is nothing but section 1. I'm going to take another section here. This is section number 22, which is at a distance of x plus dx. And this length of this element is nothing but dx. So I'm going to take a small element, that is dx, or we can take from the supports to distance of x to distance of x plus dx. We are going to take the 2 sections. Between the 2 sections, I'm going to write the relation between load, shear force, and bending moment. So listen carefully. So how to write the relation between those three values? Okay, listen carefully. Sometimes they will ask on these 3 points for 1 mark. So take care about those things now. So first of all, I'm going to draw the free body diagram of this portion. That is the portion, right? So this length is equal to how much? Dx. Now see this one. When the load is acting in downward direction, when the load is this load I am saying, when this load is acting in downward direction, so what is the direction of shear force here? This portion must be give some reactive force here, that is upward, that is named as shear force at section 1. But what is the shear force here? Automatically in downward direction, but shear force is varies from point to point. Why? Because load is varies. Load varies means force varies. Force varies means shear force also vary. So at the section 2 to shear force is nothing but F plus dF. That is the final shear force at section 2 2. This is the shear force at section 1 1. This is the shear force at section 2 2. Why? Because load is varies from point to point. Force will also vary. Or you got my point? Right. So, and what is the from up to distance of x? What is the moment here? I am taking moment at section 1 1 is nothing but m here, and automatically it gives a moment that is always more than this one, that is m plus dm. That is moment at section 1 is m, moment at section 2 is nothing but m plus dm. Or you got it? Or you got it or not? So these two are opposite, these two are opposite. Or you got it? Right. So here I want to write it, what is the relation between the load, shear force and bending moment, so that I'm going to write the equilibrium equations. I'm going to write the equilibrium equations. So I'm going to equate sum of the upward forces and downward forces are 0. So what is the upward force here? F plus F is positive. And here this one is downward. This one is W per meter. What is the total load here? That is W into dx. That's the total load, which is acting in downward direction. And here it is also acting in downward direction. F plus df. It is negative here. Negative here must be is equal to 0. That is only I am adding sum of the upward forces and downward forces must be equal to 0. So F is positive. F plus df is negative, and here UDL is there. UDL is nothing but W per meter, but up to dx we can write W into dx. Or you get the point on, that is always acting at the center. That is always acting at the center. That is the uniform distributed load here. So here FF get cancelled. FF get cancelled. Then I am writing here df is equal to minus W into dx. We can multiply with minus. Then I am writing here df divided by dx is equal to how much? Minus W. So this is the relation between shear force, length of the beam and load. So that is nothing but the rate of shear force is always equal to the rate of loading. So that is the meaning of this equation. That is the rate of shear force is always equal to rate of loading. So that is the relation between shear force and load along the length of the beam. That is one relation. And the second one, I'm going to equate the moments here. The sum of the moments at this point, section 2. I'm writing here moment, sum of the moment at section 2 must be equal to how much? 0. Then what is this moment here? This moment is clockwise. So m, and this moment, that is F plus dx, F into dx, this moment, F into this dx, and this load, this UDL must be acting at the center, that is nothing but minus W into dx into dx by 2. Why? Because total load is W into dx. So half of this value. I am taking moment about 2 2, section 2 2. Or get my point or not? So E is equal to M plus dm. M plus dm. So here get cancelled, and here dx into dx whole square. This is the square of the terms. We are going to having small value, so we are going to neglect it. Then we are writing here. So f into dx is equal to how much? Dm, or you can write here dm by dx is equal to how much? F here. Now tell me what is the relation of this one now? That is rate of change in bending moment is equal to how much? Shear force. Rate of change in bending moment is equal to shear force. This is the second relation. It is also a relation between the bending moment and shear force along the length of the beam. Now this is the relation between these variables, and I want to write the another relation here. That is by using these two relations, I want to write another relation here now. So here I know this value. So df divided by dx is equal to how much? Minus w. But I know that, f is equal to how much? F is equal to how much? Dm by dx. So I'm writing here d by dx of, that is dm by dx is equal to minus w. Are you got it? So I am writing here d square m divided by dx square is equal to minus w. So this is the relation between bending moment and load and the length of the beam now. So if we integrate one time, we can get the bending moment. If we integrate again, we are getting the shear force value. Are you got my point or not? So this is the three relations we are going to remember. It is very, very easily. We can easily understood how to calculate those values. So this is the chapter about shear force and bending moment diagram. So only here three beams are completed. That is cantilever beam, a simply support beam, overhanging beam. When the beams are subject to point load, UDL, UVL. When the beams are subject to couple, when the beams are subject to internal hinge. All are clear. And also we know that what is the relation between the shear force and bending moment and load. These are relations also are clear now. So only three beams are remaining. I will give the explanation in the next chapter. That is in the case of fixed beams, in the case of in the continuous beams, that is very simple. We can take the reactions, number of reactions, but only important in gate point of view, nothing but proper beam. If you want to draw the shear force and bending moment diagram for a proper beam, first of all, you have to find the proper reaction value. If you want to find the proper reaction value, we have to find the deflection first. That is, without prop, with the prop, what is the deflection? Then we can find the net deflection. Then we can find the reaction at the proper support. I will give it to you later, so don't bother about that thing. I will give very clearly in deflection of beams how to calculate the proper reaction, then how to draw the shear force and bending moment diagram. Also, I will give it to you. Okay, so this is the chapter number 2. So shear force and bending moment diagram. So in the gate examination, most of the questions they will ask what is maximum shear force, maximum bending moment. Otherwise, they will ask what is the bending moment diagram, what is the shear force diagram. So these are the way of questions they will ask in gate examination, right? So here three chapters is over in strength of material. That is, first one is simple stresses and strains is over, and the second one is complex stresses is over. That is, principal stresses and strains is also over, and the shear force and bending moment is also over here. Now I'm going to explain to you next chapter. That is nothing but bending stresses in beams. It is also named as pure bending. So I'm writing here bending stresses in beams, or it is also named as simple bending or pure bending. Why it is called pure bending? For example, listen carefully. Why I am calling it as pure bending or simple bending or bending stress in beams is nothing but, for example, if you take a cantilever beam, for example, if you take a cantilever beam, when the beam is subject to a point load or UDL or UVL, the beam undergoes some bending. The beam undergoes some bending like this. Then the beam having bending stresses. The beam having bending stresses. Or you got my point or not? So where the component goes to fail here, when the stresses goes on increases, so where the stress is maximum, at that point the component always goes to fail. Is it right or not? So here, when this point load is acting on the cantilever beam, when the point load is acting on the cantilever beam, there must be a bending stress, there must be a shear stress at any point. I have already told you. If you take at any point on a beam, when the beam is said to be under strain is said to be means the beam is said to be under deformation slightly or under bending. So if you take at any point in a strained material, at that point we are having three mutual perpendicular planes, each plane having two types of stresses. I have already told you in principal stresses and strain. That is nothing but one is normal stress, one is shear stress. So here, if you take this is the plane and one is perpendicular to this one is parallel. This one is nothing but normal stress, this one is shear stress. But here, normal stress is nothing but bending stress. Here, normal stress is nothing but bending stress, but there is no any shear. So here, practically, we are going to apply any type of force on the beam. If you take at any point on the beam, there must be two types of stresses will exist. Listen carefully. There must be two types of stresses will exist. One is here, one is bending. Here, the bending stress are always more than shear stresses. That means we are going to neglect the shear stresses. That means we are not considered shear stresses. We are considering only normal stresses. But here, those normal stresses under bending. So this is said to be simple bending or pure bending. Pure bending means no shear stresses. There is no shear. That is assumption I am taking here. Why? Because practically there must be two types of stresses, shear stress and bending stress. But in this case, especially in this case, bending stress are always greater than shear stresses. So in the shear stresses in beams, so we are always saying like this. The shear stresses are very greater than bending stresses. That is, in the next chapter, we are going to discuss shear stresses in beams. That means bending stress are negligible. That is the condition we are going to take it. Here, shear stress are negligible. So we are not going to consider shear stress. We are going to consider only bending stress. That's why it is named as pure bending. Shear stressor becomes zero. It is also named as simple bending. It is also named as bending stresses in beams. So in this chapter, which value we are going to calculate here? So what I told you in the first class, where the component having maximum stress, at that point the component must be goes to fail. So I want to find when the beam is subject to either point load or UDL or UVL, whatever the load on the beam must be goes to fail due to maximum stress. That means at a particular point the stress is maximum. I want to find where the stress is maximum, whether the bottom of the beam or top of the beam at the center of the beam. For example, if you take this one is the cross section of the beam, the beam is in the form of I section. So in this I section, this is the cross section of the beam. When you apply the load here, so I want to find, so where the stress is maximum, at this point or at this point or at this point. So where the stress is maximum, at that point the component goes to fail. So that I want to design the component without failure, so that I want to increase the strength at that point where the failure occurs. So that first of all, I want to find where the bending stress is maximum, where the bending stress is minimum, where the bending stress is zero. I want to find those values. After that, I want to design the beam now. Okay, right. So this is the chapter bending stresses in beam. Our aim is to find where the bending stress is maximum, where the bending stress is minimum. So how to design the beam depending on the maximum bending stress, and how to design the beam depending on the rigidity, that is flexural rigidity. I will give it to you. So listen carefully first of all here. You want to find the bending stress, so there must be a need to find the equation for bending stress. Or you got my point or not? So that I'm going to explain to you. So with a small example, listen carefully here. So I'm taking one beam here. I'm taking one beam here. So this beam is subject to some load here. So before applying the load, so this is having some axis. This is having some axis. So this one is nothing but AB, and this one is CD, and this one is nothing but EF. Okay, right. So I am going to take one small elemental layer, elemental layer on this beam. This is a small element. So having a length of how much? Dx. This length we are going to assume as dx. And this one is indicated by PQ. PQ. Or get my point? And this one is at a distance of, and it is at a distance of y from the neutral axis. What is the neutral axis here? I will give it to you. Listen carefully. Now, if you apply the bending force here, now if you apply the bending force here, then the beam will bend like this. So listen carefully. The beam will bend like this. The beam will bend like this. So this point is nothing but A dash and B dash, C dash, D dash. This one is nothing but E dash and F dash. And this one is the layer. That is P dash and Q dash. Or got my point? Now, if you see this diagram, this top layer is under compression, the bottom layer is under tension. Or got my point? So this is under maximum strain. This is under maximum strain, but the strain is under compression. The strain is under tension. So here maximum strain we get it. Here also maximum strain, but it is compressive, but it is tensile. So what is the maximum stress here? Compressive stress, sigma T. What is the maximum stress? Tensile stress. So at the top of the beam, there must be a stress that is under compression. So at the top, we are having maximum compressive stress. At the bottom, we are having maximum tensile stress. What about this point now? What about this point? What about this point? This point is below this maximum value. That means this value is always less than this value. Less this value goes on reduce in this direction. This value is also less than this value. Why? Because it is maximum tensile. It is less value, more less value than this value. So the tensile stress is goes on reduce here. The compressive stress is goes on reduce here. At a particular point, these two values are becomes zero. That point is always named as neutral point. Or you got my point? So here stress is maximum goes on reduce here. That is compressive stress is goes on reduce. Tensile stress is goes on reduce. At a particular point, both values are becomes zero. That point is named as neutral point. That is neutral point at which tension and compression become zero. Becomes zero. That point is named as neutral point. So we are getting number of neutral points. We are getting number of neutral points here. So if you join all the neutral points, we are getting neutral axis. We are getting neutral axis. By joining all neutral points, to get an axis is called neutral axis. So on that axis, there is no tension, there is no compression. That means the length of the neutral axis before application of the load, after application of the load, both are same. Or you got my point? What I am saying? Before and after application of the external force, the length of the neutral axis is remains same. Why? Because there is no tension, there is no compression of the neutral layer. Or you got my point or not? Right. So listen carefully here. Here I want to find what is the equation for bending stress. If you know the equation, then I can substitute the boundary conditions where the stress is maximum, where the stress is minimum. So E dash and F dash is nothing but neutral axis, and P dash Q dash is nothing but a small elemental which is having a length of dx initially before application of the force. After application of the force, that length will vary automatically. Why? Because it is under deformation. Or you got my point or not? Now listen carefully here. So here I am writing if you take this is the element is under strain. So first of all, find the strain value. Strain is always equal to how much? Change in length by original length. Or you got my point or not? So I'm writing here, from this diagram, listen carefully. EF, listen carefully. EF is equal to PQ. EF is equal to how much? PQ. But EF is also is equal to E dash F dash. Why? Because this is EF is nothing but neutral axis. What is the length of the neutral axis? Before and after application of this external force, there is no change in the neutral axis. So EF is equal to PQ and E dash F dash is also is equal to PQ. What is E dash F dash here? E dash F dash is nothing but in the form of arc. If you extend this line, so if you extend this line, these two lines are intersected at this point, and the distance between this point to this neutral axis is always named as R. R is named as the radius of curvature of the beam. Radius of curvature of the beam. Or you got my point or not? So if you extend this line, these 2 points are inside the point. The point is nothing but O. We are taking generally. And this R is nothing but radius of curvature. And what is the distance between these two? That is neutral axis and this layer. The neutral axis and this layer is nothing but Y. All of you know it. Or you get the point? Now listen carefully. EF is equal to how much? E dash F dash. Why? Because before and after application of the external force, there is no any change in length of this layer. That is also is equal to PQ, but PQ is equal to how much? Dx. So it is also, I'm going to write as dx. Or you got my point or not? Dx. But here, E dash F dash is in the form of how much now? E dash F dash is in the form of arc now. So I want to find the arc length. So here I am writing here, E dash F dash is also is equal to E dash F dash is also is equal to R theta. R into theta. So this angle between these two is nothing but how much? Theta. Or you got it? So that is arc length. Arc length is also always equal to R into theta. That is initial length. So this is also is equal to dx is also is equal to R theta. What is dx? Dx is nothing but initial length of this layer. Initial length of the layer. Now I'm writing here. Listen carefully. Listen carefully here. I'm writing here initial length of layer is equal to dx is also is equal to R into theta. So from this one, I have already given to you. And next one is final length of the layer. Final length of the layer is equal to, what is the final length of the layer here? P dash Q dash. P dash here is PQ initial length and the final length is P dash Q dash. So P dash Q dash is in the form of which one? Arc. What is the arc length here? R into how much? Sorry, R plus Y. R plus Y into how much? Theta. This total radius is nothing but up to this point. R plus Y, radius of curvature, into theta. Or you got my point? So R plus Y into theta is the final length of the layer. How to find this change in length here? I'm writing change in length is equal to final length minus initial length. So I'm writing here R plus theta, R plus Y into theta minus R theta. So here I'm getting R theta both are cancelled. We are getting Y theta. Or get my point or not? Okay, that is the change in length. But I want to find the strain value here. What is the value of strain here? Strain is equal to change in length by, that is delta L by original length. What is delta L change in length? Y theta. What is the original length? R theta. Theta both are cancelled. Then we are getting Y by R is equal to strain. If this beam is belongs to elastic nature or elastic member, it follows Hooke's law. It follows Hooke's law. If the member must be follows Hooke's law, then automatically we can write here stress is directly proportional to strain. Stress is directly proportional to which one? Strain here. Or you got my point or not? Then stress is equal to E into strain. But what is strain here? Strain is always equal to how much? So sigma by E, is equal to, sorry, E into, what is strain here? Y by R. Then I am writing here, sigma by Y is equal to how much? E by R. So this is the value of stress value. So this one is nothing but bending stress. This value is nothing but bending stress. Are you get the point or not? So sigma B by Y is equal to E by R. So I want to find the moment here. So listen carefully here. So when you apply the force in this direction on this beam, the beam also applies some resisting force. So according to Newton's third law, every reaction there is equivalent opposite reaction. If you apply the normal force on the beam, during the bending of the beam, it also applies some resisting force. In which direction? Opposite direction. Or you get the point or not? It is named as moment of resistance. And during the bending, it applies some resistance. So it is named as moment of resistance. For I want to find what is the moment of resistance of the beam. Then I can write the what is the total equation of the bending now. So listen carefully here. It is very simple. So listen carefully. Moment of resistance. Moment of resistance of the beam. So this is the cross section of the beam. I am taking a rectangular cross section. I am taking a small element on this cross section, and this element is at a distance of how much? Y. Or get my point or not? I am taking the distance is Y now. So this area is equal to how much? Small dA. We can write here. We can assume like this. Or get my point or not? So what is the stress on this element now? Stress is nothing but this is the formula. So bending stress is equal to E into R into how much? Y. I want to find what is the bending force on this one. Moment is nothing but force into perpendicular distance. So what is the bending stress on the small element? Bending stress is nothing but bending force divided by area is equal to E by R into Y. But this area is belongs to this small elemental area. So I can write here bending stress divided by small a, bending force divided by small a is equal to E by R into how much? Y. Then I am writing bending force is equal to E by R into Y into A. This is the value of bending force on this element. But what is the moment of this bending force with respect to this neutral axis? Moment is nothing but m is equal to force into perpendicular distance. Then I am writing here, this is the bending moment on small elemental area. So here I am writing E by R into Y into A into Y again. Then dm is equal to E by R into A into Y square. So if you want to find the total moment of the total area, I'm going to integrate on both sides. I'm writing m is equal to E by R into integral of A into Y square. What is this value here? Second moment of inertia. That is nothing but second moment of inertia. So from the second moment of inertia, it is indicated by the I value. So m is equal to E by R into I. Then m by I is equal to how much? E by R is equal to sigma b by y. So this is the relation of bending equation. So the entire bending stress is depends on this equation only. So which value we are going to find it here? We are going to find it what is the maximum bending stress in the beam, where the maximum stress is occurred in the beam at the top or bottom or middle here. Or got my point or not? Now listen carefully here. If you see under bending, automatically I can say at the top and bottom we are having stress maximum. So at the top, we are having compressive stresses. At the bottom, we are having tensile stresses. But at this neutral axis, the tensile and compressive both are become zero. That is, at neutral axis, there is no bending stresses. Where there is no bending stresses, there must be shear stresses. Where the shear stresses are zero, there must be bending stresses. So that at the top, I am saying bending is maximum. What that means? Shear is zero. At the neutral axis, I am saying bending is zero, but shear is maximum. I'll prove it in the next chapter. Okay, so listen carefully. The same principle I can apply in fluid mechanics also. That is where the pressure is maximum, where the shear is maximum. So we can apply the same relations in fluid mechanics also. So here, so what I am saying here, bending stress is maximum at the top and bottom. At the neutral axis, bending stress is zero. So where the bending is zero, at that point automatically shear is maximum. So this is the bending equation we are going to use to calculate maximum bending stress in a beam. That beam is subject to which one? A point load or UDL or UL, whatever it is. Now, what I am writing here, M by I is equal to sigma B by Y is equal to how much? E by R. So this is the bending equation. Now, from this equation, I can write two relations like this. So, sigma B by Y is equal to E by R, and sigma B is equal to E by R into Y. By using this relation also, I can calculate bending stress. When we can calculate the bending stress, we know the radius of curvature of the beam, and we know the point which is at a distance of at a distance from neutral axis. If you know it, then we can calculate sigma b. E is nothing but n modulus of the material. They will give it to you. I'll give it to you when we can use this formula. So E R Y is unknown values, then we can find this. And I can use another relation. M by I is equal to sigma b by Y, and sigma b is equal to M by I into how much? I got my point? So here I am writing m is equal divided by, I can write I by y, but I by y is always named as z value. Z is always named as section modulus. Section modulus. Or got no point on it. So section modulus always depends on y value. Always depends on y value. I is nothing but moment of inertia. Moment of inertia we can calculate for a given cross section. In according to our mechanics, we can calculate moment of inertia with respect to x-axis for rectangular cross section, triangular cross section, square cross section, or circular, semicircular. Whatever the shape is given, I can calculate what is the moment of inertia. But the z is always depending upon which one y value here. Y is minimum, that is maximum. When z is maximum, automatically sigma B is minimum here. Or got my point or not? So simply I can write like this. M is equal to how much? Sigma B into Z. So this is the relation I can use from this one, from this one. So here sigma B, what is the bending stress? So bending stress for different materials. So we are using two types of materials. We know that ductile material and brittle material. We know that what is the maximum stress in the ductile material, that is yield stress. We know the maximum stress in the brittle material, that is ultimate stress. So we know this value. Otherwise, we can find already the values are given to you. Maximum stress in different types of materials, allowable stresses. Also, we know that. So here, this is constant for every material. So M is directly proportional to how much? Z value. What is M? Moment of resistance. Moment of resistance. So when the resistance increases, what about the strength of the material? This also increases. Or got my point or not? So Z is maximum, automatically M is also maximum. Or got my point or not? When the Z is maximum, Y is minimum here. Z is equal to I by Y. So when Y is minimum, Z is maximum. When Z is maximum, M is also maximum. What is M here? M is nothing but moment of resistance of the material. So for example, if you take this is having some thickness. If you apply some external force, it undergoes some bending. If you add two pens here, if you add two pens, if you apply the same load, so there is any bending here? No. Why? Because the material increases. That means the strength will also increase. That means the resting of this material also increases. Or you got my point or no? Or you got it? So here, what I am saying here, the strength of the material is always depends on Z value. So I can compare strength of the rectangular beam, strength of the square beam, strength of the circular beam. So I can compare the different types of beams, which one is more strength depending on the same load and the same material. So I can calculate it very easily. So remember this point now. So that is nothing but M is directly proportional to Z here. So Z is nothing but section modulus. So I is minimum, then Z is maximum. When the Z is maximum, M is also maximum. M is nothing but moment of resistance of the beam. Or you got my point or not? So if you take this is the material, if you add one more, then what about the thickness? Thickness is goes on increases. When the beam thickness is increases, if you apply the same load, then what happen? The bending of this beam is goes on reduces. Or got my point or not? So the strength will also increases. That means a resting force is also goes on increase for this beam. Or you got my point or not? Or you got it? So in the next class, I will explain about this complete analysis, that is bending stresses in beams, how to calculate bending stress. And you have to remember one thing here. So we have to know how to find the I values. I value means moment of inertia of rectangular section, square section, triangular section, I section, T section, Z section. So channel section. If you know the how to calculate the I values for those sections, the bending stress are very simple here. Okay, right. So this equation is always valid when beams are having uniform cross section. This equation is valid when the beams are having uniform cross section. When the beams are having different, the beams are having varying cross section, then we can use the relation like this. So see this one. That is, I am writing here. M by I is equal to how much? E by R. That is equal to M is equal to E by R into how much? I. Then M is equal to how much? E into I divided by R. E into I is nothing but flexural rigidity. Flexural rigidity. E into I is nothing but flexural rigidity. M is equal to E into I divided by R. But here I am writing 1 by R is equal to d square y by dx square. I will give it to you in deflection of beams how to get that formula. Then I am writing here E into I into d square y by dx square is equal to how much? M. By using this formula, we can design the beam for varying cross sections also, and for maximum deflection or minimum deflection, the maximum slope and minimum slope, we can go into calculate each and every value here. Right. So here I can use this equation to find the bending stress where it is maximum, where it is minimum by substituting the boundary conditions, that is that y is equal to 0 at y is equal to some maximum d by 2 like this. For example, like this, if you take a rectangular beam, so this is a neutral axis, y is equal to 0. So this is nothing but depth here, d, and this is nothing but d by 2. So y is equal to d by 2. Here is also y is equal to d by 2. At center, y is equal to 0. Then what I am saying here, by using the y is equal to 0, what is the value of bending stress? When y is equal to d by 2, what is the value of bending stress? So by using the boundary conditions, we can easily calculate what is the bending stress, and automatically we can calculate where the bending stress is also maximum. Okay. In the next class, I will explain the entire analysis of bending stress in a single beam and in a composite beam also. And at the same time, how to design uniform strength of the beam. Uh, I can explain to you. So after that, I'll give the explanation about the shear stresses in beams. Okay. So today I'm going to close this one. The next class we will meet the next class. So thank you very much. Thank you very much to support me. Okay, right. So please try to solve more problems on the shear force and bending moment. So I have given the procedure how to draw the shear force diagram and how to draw the bending moment diagram. I have given to you clearly. So please try to solve those problems which are given in GATE examination or any other examination and the theoretical questions and one more questions. Please try to solve it. If you have any doubt, so please contact your faculties also, no problem. So, right, thank you very much to support me up to this time. So we'll meet in the next class. I'll give the explanation totally in the next class. That is bending about bending stresses and shear stresses, and the remaining chapters also. Right. I'm going to leave it. Thank you. Thank you very much.